You're welcome back, and of course, we're live on X Spaces, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course, we've got comments on the many issues that we'll be dealing with this afternoon. You are welcome to share with us, and I'll, of course, share with the rest of the world. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has launched an investigation into a fatal shooting that occurred on the evening of Monday, July 22nd, 2025, at Asawase F line in Kumasi. According to a statement released, preliminary investigation revealed that a middle-aged man was shot at close range by two unidentified assailants riding separate motorbikes. After the attack, the suspect fled the scene. The victim was initially rushed to the Menchia District Hospital and later transferred to the Confanote Teaching Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Now, we'll get details of the statement from the police shortly. First, my colleague Nana Wachi Adam was at the residence of the deceased, and he came to with this report.
Very much for this opportunity. Yes, as you rightly said, I am here on my behalf and on behalf of my other 6 MPs from the COSAC, more especially the majority leader. He directed that, yes, I take the lead here and then call for calm among the youth, do the necessary arrangements, and then communicate back to them so that we'll see the way forward to convey the mortal remains of our chief back to our hometown, my constituency, the Benuru constituency, and then give him a befitting burial. And so the long and short of it is that we closed from Parliament around 9 p.m. and whilst on our way home, we had the sad story that there has been gunshots in our chief palace here last night. And so I called some of my constituents, my brothers here, and they confirmed that yes, some 4 gunmen on board or riding 2 motorbikes came to him. At the time he was seated in front of his residence and then opened gunfire on him. Yes, upon arriving here too, the security officers confirmed it. They said they have discovered pellets of AK-47 that they believe was what the gunmen used to kill the chief. And so that is it. But what I can say is that this is becoming too many to us as COSAC. This is the second time this kind of killing or assassination is taking place. Apart from this being the second time in the Kumasi metropolis here, 1, 2 took place at Goso. And so, yes, I don't want to speak to a certain direction, but it's becoming too much on us, and so we expect that the security officers should double their efforts as far as investigating this murder and that of the 2 other ones that happened at the JN market, at the Kwadaso, and then the Goso is concerned.
A very unfortunate development happening in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, and my colleague Nana Wachi Adam was at the residence of the deceased, and he joins me via Zoom for the very latest on this developing story. Nana, so you interacted with this member of parliament for Binduri this morning. Is there anything new? We are almost, we've gone halfway past the day.
Well, Elton, clearly, apart from what you heard the Member of Parliament for Binduri constituency say, he also made mention of some of the things that going forward as a parliamentarian whose citizen has been affected by this, is going to file questions in Parliament to demand answers from the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, on the way forward. He clearly stated how difficult it has become for them to hold on to such situations, especially when it is not the first time that it has happened. And also considering the fact that this individual, who is now the deceased, is a high-profile and respected chief in the Ashanti region. He is the Deputy Kusasi Chief in the region and has become a member of the Kusasi Chief Association for quite some time now. He took over from the main chief for over 10 years now. And then he has been leading all mediation efforts when it comes to conflict resolution methods in the Ashanti region, especially with the recent Boko conflict that's been led by the Ashanti. And so he said that he's going to file questions in Parliament, and probably a parliamentary probe will proceed on this. We've also heard from the police. The very latest release that is coming from them is that they are getting some form of identification on some of these individuals, or the two individuals who led to the assassination of the said individual. So they are going on a manhunt to bring these perpetrators to book. The family are also moving to the police head office in the Ashanti region right now to also submit to them any form of evidence that is going to guide with the investigation process. We've also heard from the Interior Minister, but not the latest, and his statement came earlier this morning condemning the incident and also calling for justice to be served. Elton.
Right. So Nana, I'm curious to know, I mean, these are various groups, they have their own, traditional leaders residing in Kumasi. In view of what happened yesterday, is there calm among the other groups?
Well, Elton, there's no calm among these groups. Earlier this morning around 9 a.m. when we reached out to the family house of the deceased, we saw the youth were very, very angry, tension amongst most of them who wanted to even de-escalate the matter. But it took police intervention to calm their nerves. Just as you heard the Member of Parliament for Binduri say, it has become continuously difficult to calm them down. And so a clear example is what we saw today when most of them were up in arms against each other, saying that they needed police to fasten the investigation process. If not, they are going to also retaliate when it comes to unleashing the equal violence on some of these individuals they believe to have caused the incident.
So does it suggest that they may be aware of who may have carried out this assassination?
Exactly. For them, they would want to leave it to the police, but they know clearly these individuals who came up against the Kusasi Chief in the Ashanti region. We could hear whispers from the corridors of these individuals as they say that they are going on an individual manhunt, on a civil manhunt for themselves, and not to leave everything to the police because they know clearly who these two individuals are. They do not want to point fingers as to who they are by telling us, but for them, they are whispering it amongst themselves. And the Member of Parliament clearly said that they will not point to a certain direction, not even sort of related to the ongoing Boko conflict, but they know the perpetrators, and then they are going to submit their details to the police, and they themselves are going to go on a full-scale manhunt for them.
Nana, thank you so much for this update from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Well, the police administration or the regional command in the Ashanti region, they say a full-scale investigation is ongoing and is urging the public to remain calm and assist with any information that could lead to the killer's arrest. Let me bring you the statement that the police issued after the confirmation of the death of the Kusasi Chief resident in Ashanti region. They say that the police has commenced investigation into this matter. This happened yesterday, Monday. This happened on Monday, July 22nd, 2025, at Asawase F line, a suburb of Ashanti region, Kumasi to be precise. Now, preliminary investigation, according to police, indicates that the victim, a middle-aged man, was fatally shot by two unidentified assailants. The suspects, each riding on the motorbike, reportedly approached the victim, opened fire at close range before leaving the scene. Now, the victim was initially rushed to the Menchia Hospital. We brought you the details. And the police says in response to the incident, the Ashanti Regional Command, that's DCOP Emmanuel Kujo, the Ashanti Regional Crime Officer, ACP Ebenezer Boyo, and a team of officers visited the crime scene. And so investigation is ongoing. During the inspection, 2 empty shells suspected to be from AK-47 assault rifle were recovered and documented. The Regional Command assures the public that every effort is being made to identify and apprehend the perpetrators of this heinous crime. And they are urging the public to remain calm, and they are also calling on anyone with relevant information to contact the nearest police station. And they provided the numbers there, the police emergency number 191 or 112 or 1855. And this is signed by Godwin Ahianyo, is the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Head of Public Relations in the Ashanti region. Well, family members of the deceased are calling for national security, not only find the perpetrators, but also assure communities of their safety, now especially for those actively involved in peace-building efforts. Well, so we'll bring you the comments from the family shortly. But let's try and understand what is going on and how best these matters can be resolved. Because some few days ago we heard of the closure of a senior high school somewhere in the northern region linked to such skirmishes. And today we are reporting of the incident that took place in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Victor Doke is a security expert. Mr. Doke, good to have you here. Good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse. What is your own reading into this particular unfortunate incident?
Thank you very much and good day to you. I think, what I read into this is a more like a targeted killing. For the Kusasi youth leader in Asawase to have been killed close range, it means there was a lot that went into it by the assailants. Now, they monitored this gentleman, knew his movement, at that time he would be out, and then committed a crime. This is more of criminal activity that has gone on. And unfortunately, what will happen is there's always a quick interpretation, right, to accuse a faction or to accuse a particular group of people as having a hand in it. Now, if investigations are not complete, then we'll be quick to be making that assertions. However, one of the ways we can get information to help the police. Now, the youths themselves know each other in the community.
Right.
Now, they are deep into, activities they themselves know of. So when the youth say they know those who did it, they may have some lead. The police can start with that and then take the names that they have. It's just about inviting people, questioning them, and then looking at their alibis. If they fit, descriptions and their statements don't go well with regards to what they have, then you can proceed. But by and large, until investigations are done, we should be careful not to, be quick to accuse a certain group of people. That will only escalate the tension. After now, tensions will be high. Now, we all know now there's a temptation to link it to the Boko conflict generally. So if so, now those other factions also in Asawase, what do you think they will do? They will also be probably be getting ready for the fact that they've been probably accused and fingers are pointing to them. So they will also start massing up. And what happens is, total clashes. We don't want to see that. So I think calm should proceed. The police will have their lead. They should, be very, very quick about it so that the situation will die down. The perpetrator should be brought to book. Now, the longer it takes, then these chiefs will take matters into their own hands.
But Mr. Doke, is it enough for the police to, for example, rely on the comments from the community suggesting that they know the individuals who may be responsible for the assassination of the chief? I mean, I'm asking because there is the potential where, because they may have issues with one or two people, they may want to bring them into the conflict. They may not necessarily be the ones responsible. Isn't it fair that the police is allowed to do an independent work and then, go ahead and prosecute if they're able to nail whoever, is responsible for this?
In as much as the police will do their own independent investigations, when you're talking about assistant or investigations, you look at assistants, informants who would likely give you some lead. It is not bad when the police or any other investigative body relies on public knowledge to help their investigations. It is always allowed. So they will do their own investigations.
Well, we
together.
We are losing you.
Yes. Kusasi, they have friends in there. So they know each other. Now, with these two guys who committed this crime, trust me, they also have friends who know some people in different factions. So they will likely talk about it. There will be some evidence that will go out. So it is not wrong to take some information, because the police themselves have provided a number out there for people to reach out to them. So imagine I have some information or have heard from friends that these two people likely may have committed a crime. I'll just submit their names to the police, and it helps them.
The other matter, the police reference, sometimes it's become very disturbing. The statement that the police issued, according to them, when they went to the scene, they recovered shells linked to AK-47. And it is something that is of concern to a lot of people. The arms in the hands of, people, and they're using it for, illegal activities. It is quite scary. I mean, to appreciate the fact that perhaps we've seen it in political rallies, people firing one shot here and there, and now this
Exactly.
Yeah,
for the arms, we've been hammering on it over and over again. How porous are our borders? How these arms get into the country, and how there's the desire for the youth to acquire the arms all in the name of self-defense because they don't trust their fellow counterparts. It is something that we need to look at holistically as a country and institutionalized. You're talking about the Small Arms Commission. What would they do, especially with regards to conflict areas where we have the arms, proliferated in there? But now the norm is these criminals have the arms and then can perpetrate crime, which is very bad. How do we put a stop to it in general? That's it. Because now, for the youth, the idea is to acquire the arms just for self-defense and nothing else. But in the end, it's the same arms that are used for criminal activities and then killing other people. So it's something we need to look at.
Okay, we'll leave it here for now, but perhaps I was going to ask your expectation of the Interior Ministry. I know that the police is handling it because this happened in the constituency of the Interior Minister.
Yeah. So now we know Asawase, right, ideally is a hotspot. Now, what is going to happen is the Interior Minister and the MP for that area would, as much as possible, put pressure on the police to deliver. Because you are talking about this area, and when this has happened, it's just one of, we don't know of how many weapons are circulated in that area and what the next target will be. So as much as possible, trust me, he can only bring in resources. He can only encourage the police to do their work. Until then, we wait and see what the investigations will do. But by and large, trust me, he will be somewhat worried that in his own backyard, this could have happened.
All right, we'll leave it here for now. Mr. Victor Docker is a security expert on this one. This is a developing story. We'll bring you more as on. We're hoping to speak to the Interior Ministry. They are unavailable for comments as of now. We understand that the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defense and Interior, they've taken a keen interest in this matter, and they are hoping to, have the minister respond to this particular disturbances plus others in a scheduled meeting yet to come off. And we're keeping an eye on this particular matter. As and when we have details of the very latest, we'll bring this conversation back and bring that to you here on the program. But let's talk about education, because the Youth Development and Empowerment Minister, George Apariado, has warned that Ghana risks a major diplomatic embarrassment if urgent steps are not taken to clear mounting scholarship debt owed to institutions abroad. Now, he disclosed that the country currently owes up to 700 million cedis in unpaid fees under the government scholarship program, a debt he says he inherited. Now, according to him, negotiations are already underway to settle the arrears and restore confidence in the scheme. He spoke to my colleague Ivan Spencer on PM Express.
Also think about the cost factor.
Yeah, definitely the cost will be part of the things we'll look at.
Yeah, because Asawase is not cheap.
But you see, there are some programs that Asawase is running that Legon or Tech are not running. And so if Asawase has that potential, why should I send a student out of Ghana when Asawase can do it? When I can give the money to a Ghanaian entrepreneur and the money is going to remain in Ghana. And you see, one of the challenges is our exchange rates. The current bill that I have at the school is over 700 million Ghana cedis in debt that we have to find money to pay.
You mean this from a scholarship?
Yes, the debt that I have inherited as minister.
Just the scholarship criteria?
Just the scholarship criteria. There is a debt.
How much is that?
700 million Ghana cedis.
700 million cedis?
Yes.
Of fees that you haven't paid
that we've not paid
across the world. 700 million.
$700.
That's 300 million shy of a billion cedis.
Exactly. That is the debt we inherited. And so my registrar now has to go around the world and negotiate with schools. And that is what we've been undertaking in the last 4 or 5 months. I keep sending him, go here, because you keep getting threats all over the world. We are going to sack your students. So almost every time he's out there pleading, renegotiating.
Mr. Operado knows that the yet-to-be-approved scholarship bill authority will consolidate all existing scholarship scheme under a single unified framework.
Currently, the Scholarship Secretariat sits under my ministry, but when it is all done and the bill is passed, it will have to move to the Ministry of Education, because technically scholarships are educational issues. But I chaired that committee, and the co-chair was Honorable Haruna Idris. What we are seeking to cure is the issues, some of the issues that were raised by the fourth estate. For instance, we did not have a standard procedure for administering scholarship. And so it was who you know. It was not, because from where I sit and growing up, I knew that scholarships were for needy students, people who could not afford, or if the states had the need to address a certain challenge. For instance, when we discovered oil, and we didn't have a lot of expertise in that field, then the state would need to do an intervention. So the state will have to look for very smart, young, dedicated students and then sponsor their education and use scholarship so that they can go and come back or get training and then come and help fix the problem. Over the years, that has been abused. And the manner in which scholarship has been administered was like selling tomatoes in the markets. People go and then say, let me pay 10 cedis, let me pay 20 cedis. Okay, based on the investigations that the fourth estate did. Yeah. So we wanted to address that challenge.
Well, again, he explains that the new bill will prohibit politicians and other extended family members, who are politically exposed from accessing government-funded scholarship, ensuring that the support is only reserved for truly deserving and underprivileged students.
How are you taking politicians away from...
So, for instance, George Pariado, no family member of mine can have access.
So you've written it into the bill?
It's in the bill that certain people of political class. So if we don't...
And your relatives? Or just you?
Evans, this is a very difficult question.
No, it's not. It's a very simple one.
One of the things we debated on during the drafting was... So I come from a very big family. The Opariados are all over. And immediately you say you are an Opariado, they know which house you are coming from on the Krapim Bridge. But not everybody is known by me. So if an Opariado from somewhere goes to apply for a scholarship, and then they ask him, do you know Opariado? The minister says yes. He may have no direct relations to me. Does he qualify or does he get disqualified because he's related to me?
Does the bill as it stands now say you're disqualified because the person says they know you?
For immediate family members.
Okay. So that's the wording.
Immediate family members. But you see, it's a challenge. But I believe strongly that it's unconscionable for people such as me, people like me, who can afford to pay fees, to want to let my people or even myself.
Well, there's a lot more contained in this scholarship authority bill that is now going through some kind of consultation before it is taken to Parliament. Government has made it clear that it will still go to Parliament under a certificate of urgency, but now they are doing a bit more consultation to fine-tune some aspects of it. Now, there are some that we know. There is the issue of scope. The minister states that government scholarship will no longer be granted for studies abroad unless the program the person is applying for is unavailable in Ghana.
One of the things we are looking at is programs that can be or are being taught here locally. The state must not spend money in sending, for instance, business administration.
So you will not fund the student to go abroad to go and study business administration?
To go and stay when University of Ghana Business School is one of the best in the sub-region.
So in other words, you're saying that...
But we can fund you to go to the University of Ghana Business School. If that is the course you want to run.
Are we saying categorically that once there is a public institution in Ghana offers a course, then we're not going to fund a student to go abroad to go and study? Is that the...
So that is what we have currently. But, Parliament will have to look at it and decide.
So that is the proposal in the bill?
That is one of the proposals in the bill. That if there is a course that is taught locally, government does not have to spend money to send a student out of this country. What it means is that we have no hope, no confidence in our own institutions.
Well, so a lot more contained in this scholarship authority bill. Question that is on the lips of many is whether or not government or the state will go by the dictates of this bill that's currently before Parliament and going through some level of consultation before it is back and taken through under a certificate of urgency. The issue about politicization of the scheme and whether or not indeed politicians and politically exposed individuals will be barred from accessing government scholarship. Joining us to explore this matter is, of course, the Executive Director of the Institute of Education Services, IFES, Dr. Peter Ante. We'll also be speaking to the Vice Chair of the Education Committee in Parliament. But, Dr. Ante, first, 700 million Ghana cedis in debt. Surprise or, from your own watch, it is what it is?
Good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. Surprised? No. I'm just. It's just funny that a country that is supposed to use the scholarship system to improve on its human capital base and ensure that those who really need financial assistance to pursue tertiary education are given, can turn out to just give out scholarship without recourse to the financial capacity of the country to pay for these scholarships. It seems that the Scholarship Secretariat has been an avenue for people to just dole out scholarship. Give opportunity to people to go and study outside, and that is it. Fortunately, there's a change in government, and we are now seeing the full length of the frog. It's very unfortunate. I think that the Minister for Youth should not end there. They should delve deeper into this issue, and whoever is found culpable should be brought to book. But as I said, scholarship is we are supposed to use scholarship to build the human capacity of the country, so that areas that we don't have the human resource, we now want to train people in that area. Again, we use scholarship to assist those who have financial difficulty to access education. But in our case, it seems that scholarship was just was sold like the ministers was sold in the market like tomatoes. This is unfortunate, and it shouldn't go unpunished.
Clearly, the rationale behind it is laudable. You are building the capacity of your citizens. Now, here's what the minister says in terms of dealing with. We've heard a lot of schools abroad. They've threatened to sack Ghanaian students on government scholarship. The minister says that his chief director is been to the United States of America. He's been to the United Kingdom to talk to some of these schools. University of Tennessee, Memphis, for example, they've given a deadline, and they are hoping that they can renegotiate with them to see how best they can pay off this outstanding debt. Now there is a bill that is seeking to streamline the administration of scholarships in the country. I'm sure you've had the opportunity to peruse the content of it. A few things that they are talking about: no more scholarship to politicians and politically exposed individuals. Scholarship, 90% should be local, except where we don't have those courses in Ghana. Question really is, these are fine details in the document. In terms of actualizing, that's where the problem has always been.
Yes, so first and foremost, we need to commend the current administration for taking this bold step. You know that the Scholarship Secretariat has been under the presidency for all these years and was operating without, let me use the word, without formula. So It was just being given out just as and when they feel like they would want to do that. So it is just a bold initiative by the current administration to get a legal backing for the scholarship secretariat. I heard the minister saying that they want to consolidate all scholarships into this particular format, which I think is a good idea. We have said this during the manifesto period, and we encourage the political parties to pursue this particular line so that we don't have different entities giving out scholarship as and when they want to. We should have a streamlined scholarship system, and that is what the bill is supposed to be doing. And in the perspective of not giving out scholarship, scholars to people who want to pursue programs that are being held in the country, I think that is very important. I don't think that you would want to go and do an MBA in Harvard or any other foreign university when you can do an MBA in Ghana. And that's why I initially said that scholarships are designed to fill in the human resource base of the country, areas where we do not have the expertise. Then we now give people the assistance to go and pursue those things. So if you remember, there were times that people were taken to Russia for them to pursue medicine, and then they came back to assist in our health delivery system. That is what scholarships supposed to be doing. So it is a very good thing that they want to do, and I think that we should support them. There's been some consultations that is going on, led by my brother Kofi Asare, and I think that they've met the minister and the team, and certain proposals have been put on board, and hoping that they will consider that and they revise the bill so that it reflects the aspirations of the people of Ghana, and not the system that we are experiencing, where people just, especially, let me even be clear, people with political party affiliation are giving these scholarships to go and pursue programs outside, and then this tend to be a burden on the country. We shouldn't pursue that line again.
Indeed, in the bill that is before Parliament, they make the point that politicians and politically exposed individuals are barred from assessing scholarship. Now we are told that some rank and file of the NDC are not happy with it because they're government in power and they expect to benefit from some of these initiatives. Now it's the case that they are being removed from participating in government scholarship. They think that it is not the way to go. They are prevailing on the administration to amend that particular clause in the bill. The minister says that they are not going to do so. They are going ahead and ensure that is done. But you say that you've made some inputs. Can you share with us what exactly you are adding on to this before it is back in Parliament?
Yeah, so there's a lot of consultation that is going on. We are recommending to the Ministry of Education to first and foremost look at the composition of the board of the Scholarship Secretariat and make sure that there's a representative from the student front. I think that is a position that is acceptable by most of the stakeholders. Then we are also looking at the award of the scholarship. Now the challenge is with the award. So who does the award? Is it the Scholarship Authority? Or there should be a system where the Scholarship Authority would design the framework or the criteria for awarding the scholarship, but then their mandate is now shared between the institutions within the country that runs these programs, and then a certain percentage is given to the authority. For example, the president said, President Mahama has indicated that students who perform exceptionally well in WASI would be given some sort of scholarship. So that kind of scholarship can be under the governing board of the scholarship authority. However, when it comes to issuing a scholarship to individuals in the tertiary institutions in the country, we are thinking that this particular area can be left in the hands of the tertiary institutions because they offer the admission. And if that is done, there can be some sort of percentage of 60 to 70 or 80% given to these educational institutions, and then 20 to 30% given to the scholarship authority to award a scholarship for special areas that the country needs to address its human resource capacity. So these are that are ongoing, so that we do not want to leave the award of the scholarship 100% in the hands of the authority. It will be back to square one.
But and government says that they intend to have this pass under a certificate of agency. Don't we need more time to peruse and build consensus on this matter, rather than have it pass as if we need this so urgently at this time?
I agree with you. I don't think there's no urgency to this matter. But of course, the minister made time to meet selected CEO heads this week, led by my brother Kofi Asare, and I know Suleiman from is it Suleiman Ibrahima,
right?
From States. Yeah, I know he was also there, and other folks. So there's some sort of consultation and engagement that is going on, and I believe that whatever inputs that are made at that meeting would be incorporated into the bill. But I agree with you. We should not rush this bill. We should get it right, because they have taken a good step to give a legal backing to our scholarship system. They should get it right from the start. Yes.
All right, Mr. Pitanti, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And of course, he is with IFS, and they are into this particular sector. The minister has been engaging some stakeholders. The bill will come to Parliament pretty soon. So what role is the Education Committee also doing around this particular matter as we look forward to the bill coming back? The Honorable Joseph Kwame Kuma is a member of Parliament for Kintampo North and Deputy Chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education. Honorable Kuma, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Brother Eldon and your listeners. How are you all?
Great. So what breakdown have you been given regarding the 700 million Ghana cedi debt at the Scholarship Secretariat?
Let me thank you for this opportunity, and let it be on record. As far as Scholarship Secretariat is concerned, they've not yet given us the breakdown as a committee, possibly my chairman, right? What we are doing now is that we are looking at the bill itself. And like my brother who just spoke to you said, yesterday we had a breakfast meeting with Brother Kofi Asare, the NUC's president, the Fiscally Challenged Society, and other states, the Ministry of Education itself, the minister, the committee, and other stakeholders. And we accepted some of the inputs. Like he was mentioning, they are advocating that a representative of NUC should be part of the board. NDPC should be represented. GTech, they were looking at the universities. And we said, well, GTech, we should have a rep of GTech on the board. These are some of the things we are looking at. So, among other things, they've also advised we should let the authority be more in the hands of the neutral people than the politically exposed persons, as you say. Yes, the minister and all of us said, well, definitely we'll consider some of the proposals. We'll take some of the proposals on board, but not all. The minister assured them that in the long run, in the very near future, we are even going to have scholarships and bursaries acts. Scholarships and bursaries acts.
Right.
Where we will now encompass all the proposals that they are putting on board. We will go on with the bill, include some of their proposals, but not all. But the finality of it will be done when we'll bring the scholarships and then bursaries act, when we'll have it in place and to encompass everything that they want to get into the system. So on the issue of the amount of money owed, my brother said, it's surprising that we uncontrollably just dish out scholarships to people who have gone out there just doing courses that University for Development Studies, KNUST, University of Ghana, And most of our private universities all are offering them. We can't understand this, my brother. Dishing our scholarship to wards of politicians, wives of politicians, high-class politicians who can pay just because there was no board, there was no serious regulator. Things just happen the way they happen. We are quickly resetting things. We are quickly resetting. So I want to plead with people who do say that, why are we in a hurry? There must be a regulation in place. And that is what the government has seek to do through the Minister of Education. We want to have a board in place. We want to have a regulator in place so that the past things are not repeated.
Right. So
we want to concentrate on programs that are needed. If you will go and spend dollars, pound sterling outside for studying, then it should be a program that we don't have it in Ghana, that you are going to add on knowledge to bring to us. It should be a program that a university, for instance, if you are lecturing in a university and they feel that you need an additional program out there to come and beef up your knowledge, why not? We shall accept that.
So, Honorable, just some few issues so that we can clear them. First of all,
yes.
I mean, you are the member of parliament for Kintampo North.
Yes.
And I'm sure that then also occupying this very important position as deputy chair of the Education Committee, I'm sure your constituents will be coming to you. And some genuinely, they qualify for government scholarship. They think that because of your unique role, a word from you will help them get the scholarship. It is to build the capacity of your constituents. You are saying that under the new dispensation, it will be difficult for you to put in a word for such individuals because of the politically exposed.
They will get scholarships for programs that are being run in Ghana. They will be given scholarships for programs that Ghanaian universities are running.
We appear to have lost, yes, we appear to have lost the vice chair. We'll try and bring him back because we've still got some few questions to ask him on this particular matter. The member of parliament for Kintampo North and is also the deputy chair of the Select Committee on Education, Joseph Kwame Kuma, will bring him back on. But what do you make of what is happening now? And you think that this new move by government will help cure the many challenges with the scholarship administration in this country? You can share your comments with us on our Facebook, YouTube, X Space live channel, and then I will share those comments with our viewers and those who are also watching us. So, Honorable, sorry we lost you. You were explaining how your constituents, for example, may get scholarship, even though the political cloud may not have an influence.
No. We are on the issue of not spending dollars and pound sterling on programs that are being run in our country. If my constituent from Kintampo is to apply for any program, he is being advised to apply for the program within Ghana. If he is going to do a technical program, a TVET-related course, which definitely we don't have any university running that program in Ghana, why not? The scholarship will be taking care of that. We are particularly conscious. If my constituent from Kintampo is going for any program in AI, artificial intelligence, definitely, which we know most of our universities here don't have the capacity yet, why not? But if it is on something like philosophy, the fellow is going for any of the humanities, business administration. Why? We have gotten to the point we must say things as they are.
All right. So
his government he has voted for is saying that let's economize things. Let's promote Ghanaian universities. My brother, before this time, as an education committee, we visited schools and private universities within the Volta, Central, and Western regions for 3 good weeks.
Right.
Some of our universities are having infrastructure available, yet they are not getting students. They have very good programs. Yes, they are not getting students. We are running the universities down by sponsoring people outside instead of letting them patronize our own. What are we doing to ourselves as a nation? So this particular scholarship is to streamline all the lost glory. We have to be proud of our country. We have to be proud of our own institutions.
Let's
limit the finances to our universities down here.
Right.
We are rather sponsoring universities outside. In ordinary programs that our universities are able to run here.
Let me ask, so Honorable, the proposal to have an independent body administer scholarship in the country, you say you don't accept?
We didn't say we will not accept. They brought the proposal. We are going to take some on board. I was with them. I participated. The minister was there. They said we should let NUCS, the representative of NUCS, to be part of the board. We have accepted. They say NDPC should be represented. National Development Planning Commission, we have accepted that. They are saying we should let UTAC. But in any case, we are looking at making GTEC to rather be represented.
All right.
Because that's the controlling authority, the regulatory authority, you understand? We are accepting that. Because we are accepting. They gave us that, they should be a regulator. We are taking that on board. But the minister made it clear that in its present form, we will move on, fix some of their proposals, but that complete structure will be getting it by next year onwards, where we will now have scholarship and bursaries act. When we then put that act together, then we can fully and wholly accept all the proposals that they are talking of. But for now, where we have gotten to, they also were happy that some of their issues will be factored in. They talked of gender, that we should have. We said yes. In the whole scholarship itself, where we have gotten to the gender, there's the presidents appoint 2 people, one of the 3 people, and one of them should necessarily be a woman.
Right.
And it means 3 of them can all be women, or even 2 can be women and 1 will be a man. So we have accepted most of the proposal.
All right.
That is what is going on now.
And then a few other issues about the funding. And I don't know whether from the Education Committee's perspective, what is being done now, the students who face possible expulsion, is there any intervention that you are aware of?
Yes, yesterday we were with the president of NUCS, and he did mention that Britain alone, we owe not less than the universities, Britain alone.
Right.
We owe not less than £40 million. 40 million pounds.
40 million pounds sterling for just one university.
One university. Or the students together.
Right.
The whole of the universities in Britain. Both all put together. That place alone, 40 million pounds sterling. How on earth, my brother? How? And this particular bill also seeks to regulate, if no money, no scholarship. There should be a budget to be able to do that. If there is no money, no scholarship to be given. These are some of the mischiefs this bill wants to cure.
Right.
You can't just dole out people, take scholarship and go take scholarship when you have no budget.
Isn't it a problem with the scholarship primarily linked to the fact that funding usually comes from the office of the president? I mean, you hardly hear people complain about non-release of money from, for example, Get Fund or GMPC scholarship.
Yes, so that is why That is why we are in a hurry to have this in place, so that a body will regulate it. There will be cut-off point. If you don't spend below this amount, what is in the budget is what we will. The oil, we are looking at a percentage of the oil fund that will be tied to it. We are looking at a percentage. The minister was looking at maybe somewhere between 1.5 to 2%, if it will be accepted. He's lobbying to have it from the Minister of Finance in consultation, definitely, with the big man, so that this is one source they are looking at. And then in future, he's also looking at, we have the CAP Get Fund, and other statutory funds that we are looking at that can come in. Other sources are also being looked at in the bill that they should be able to harness, so that in future, if we are to have Scholarship and Bursaries Act in place, it means we'll be collapsing some of the scholarships and bringing them under one body.
And then finally, so tomorrow is a mid-year review. When are we likely to see the bill back on the floor for the necessary consideration and passage?
Very good. If I'm not mistaken, even today we may do some considerations, all things being equal, and then see what could happen tomorrow or by Friday.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you for this clarity you brought on this particular matter. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Kintampo North, Deputy Chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Joseph Kwame Kuma. Thank you so much for your time. Let's stay a little longer, because the Ghana Education Service has also announced that all outstanding capitation grant arrears from 2023 academic year to date have been fully cleared. Now, according to a statement issued by the GES, the payment reflects the government's strong commitment to ensuring the smooth operation and effective management of basic schools across the country. The service also reaffirmed its dedication to working with stakeholders to improve learning outcomes across the country. And this is a statement that they issued some few minutes ago. There you have it. They've settled all outstanding arrears of the capitation grants. And so, this is a statement that came from the Ghana Education Service. So the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Danny Fenyi, joins me. So this must be good news, especially for the GES, knowing very well that sometimes you're under pressure to meet some of these demands.
Indeed, thank you very much. This is supposed to be good news. It is a show of commitment that the government has to improve basic education in the country. We know how important capitation grant is. There's a grant that goes to the basic schools to support some of the things that they do, i.e. maintenance of the schools, repair of certain facilities and infrastructure, and a couple of things that they do. And the government believes that basic education or foundational learning is very important. And so if you really want to build the future of this country, build the human resource and human capital of the country, then you cannot do that without strengthening foundational and basic education. So government thought it wise that why wouldn't he settle all arrears? So this is arrears owed back in 2023 to date. And government has settled all debt. I mean, it didn't come all at once. Government paid in tranches, I think 3 or 4 batches, and now the final batch has been paid. And so our head teachers, our district directors of education, regional directors, and all stakeholders can be very much assured that all arrears regarding the capitation grants has been settled, and so our school leaders, our school authorities can go about their duties uninterrupted and focus on improving the quality of education at the basic school level. You would recall that some time back we all raised a lot of concerns about basic education, where many stakeholders felt that basic education has not been given the needed attention. It was as though all the attention had been given to the senior high. Almost all interventions, it appears as though they were given to the senior high and all that. But this government believes that no, if you really want to strengthen the education system very well, then let's go back to the KG classroom. Let's go back to the class 1. Let's go back to the JHS. Let's go back to the primary school. And let's strengthen those levels, because it is when these levels are strengthened that you can be sure that the students, the learners that we churn out to the senior high and even the tertiary level are of high quality, and their academics or their studies are very much improved. So this is one of government's commitments to the people of Ghana, to the students of Ghana, to parents and stakeholders in the country, that there's so much attention to the basic education level. Government prioritizes foundational learning. Government is interested in foundational learning, and it will go every length to ensure that foundational learning has been given the needed glory that it lost.
And let me just find out, are you able to tell us how much in terms of monetary value, how much was paid?
Yes, we are looking close to over 70 million Ghana cedis in that region.
Okay.
And it was, as I said, supposed to cover 2023, 2024, and then this year, 2025 as well.
So what is the plan going forward? You've paid arrears, which means that as we speak today, they may not have the grant to help run the school. So what happens now going forward?
Yeah, so we actually paid arrears and paid that of this year as well. Okay. So the agenda going forward is that, one, we shouldn't wait for arrears to build up anymore, because these are monies that our school leaders and school authority use to run the schools. So going forward, the plan is that there will be timely disbursement of the funds. Government will ensure that the teachers receive the funding at the right and appropriate time, so that heads and school leaders can go about their duties as they have to. So the plan going forward is timely disbursement of the money.
And I guess that makes the GES very happy.
Indeed, whenever we come in, whenever we step in, especially when our mother ministry, which is the Ministry of Education, and even the Finance Ministry, gives us attention, we are so excited, especially when the attention goes to the basic school level. And we are so excited. What are we there for? We are there to ensure that quality education is given to the Ghanaian students, right? And I always mention this, that quality education is not a privilege. It is not an opportunity. It is actually a right that our children deserve. And so anytime such interventions go out, anytime government steps in for us, we are very much excited that at least our learners at the basic school level have received attention and the quality of education that they so desire and deserve are given to them. So we would thank the Finance Ministry and our mother ministry, which is the Education Ministry, and of course you, the media, and all stakeholders who have continuously engaged with our students, with our parents, and with all our stakeholders. You have continuously engaged us, you have continuously supported us, and we will continue to count on your support and your help going forward. The whole plan is to improve basic education in the country, and that's what we will do.
Thank you so much, Public Relations Officer with the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Faye. We'll take a short break here on the pod. When we return, we'll talk about Galamsey, probably take you to Parliament ahead of the presentation of the 2025 mid-year review of the budget. Stay put. Come back, and of course, I see loads of comments on the scholarship issue. And of course, I'm going to share them. You can keep yours coming, because it's a matter that virtually affects everybody. Everybody wants to build his or her capacity. And if the government is supporting you, then it's a welcome. But when it is abused, that's where the challenge comes in. Now, let's talk about illegal mining and other related matters to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, because the Sector Minister, Emmanuel Amakofibua, says 907 out of the 1,278 small-scale mining licenses are currently under review for possible revocation due to irregularities identified by the Small-Scale Mining Review Committee. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, he stated that a similar exercise is currently ongoing to review large-scale mining licenses to ensure compliance. According to him, these measures are aimed at sanitizing the mining sector to promote transparency and sustainable operations.
In the fight against Galamsey, it must be noted that 55 small-scale mining licenses issued during the transitional period were revoked at the beginning of the year. Additionally, 907 out of 1,278 licenses, and these are small-scale mining licenses, are now under review for possible revocation due to irregularities identified by the Small-Scale Mining Review Committee, chaired by my able Deputy Minister. A similar exercise is currently ongoing to review large-scale mining licenses to ensure compliance. These measures are all aimed at sanitizing the mining sector to ensure transparency and sustainable operations. In collaboration with other agencies, including the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the National Security Secretariat, and I must say that I've had a full cooperation of our various sector ministries, and I want to take the opportunity to thank them for their cooperation, including the Attorney General. 425 excavators and other machinery have been seized. We have also made 1,345 arrests nationwide since we started, and prosecutions are steadily progressing. In collaboration with the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Finance under the GRA Customs Division and the Ports and Harbours Authority, we have initiated a proactive tracking of all imports of excavators and earth-moving equipment from the point of entry. So far, 1,200 excavators have been impounded, pending validations before clearance at the port. We are also developing a centralized digital platform named the Ghana Mine Repository and Tracking Software that has been deployed at the Minerals Commission and is at an advanced stage to support this initiative.
Well, let's say, because the future of a $100 million Black Voter Gold project was in limbo until recently, as dispute between Azuma Resources Limited and engineers and planners threatened to stall its progress. However, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua, revealed that the two companies have now resolved their differences amicably, following an earlier ultimatum he issued for the matter to be settled.
Yes, I issued a directive on the July 10th and there were really good justification for the minister responsible for mining to do that. First, Ghana is a shareholder in that enterprise. We have 10% in that enterprise. Any delay in continuing the exploitation of that resources affects the people of Ghana directly in terms of revenue, taxes, and empowering the people in those areas. This particular lease has been given for over 5 years or so. And so first it was within the minister's right to make sure that we address the issue. But I'm happy to inform you that after that letter, these two companies have really made progress. In fact, I received a letter from Azuma Resources informing me that they've reached very conclusive agreements with the EMP. And that should tell you that I think those in it, that letter really has impact.
Well, the minister again reviewed that over the past 6 months, government has successfully negotiated a deal that will see a major mine return to Ghanaian ownership by March next year. He said the Mahama-led administration is committed to ensuring that the people of Ghana are the true beneficiaries of the nation's natural resources and have ownership of large-scale mining operations.
And so some of those agreements are really, sanctified, and we are going to respect that. But going forward, exactly what are the things that we can do to really empower the people of Ghana and make sure that the resources of Ghana, all of the things we are doing, if you look at the Mining Act and the things I've said, are basically putting Ghanaians at the commanding height of our industry, empowering the people of Ghana. This was the vision. So the vision of our founders, that we must get to the point where the people of Ghana are the real beneficiary of these resources. And I believe that me and you, our time, we must make sure we push. And this is what the president is fighting for. And when the president says that he is making sure that large-scale mining companies, and I'll tell you, already just in the last 6 months, we've been able to negotiate, and just by March next year, we are going to get a mine that was 30 years old back in the hands of the people of Ghana. And we believe that that is in the right direction. And that's why we are doing all these reviews and policy reviews.
Now, on the Blue Water Initiative, the minister says the next phase will be to focus on dechemicalizing the water bodies to restore them to their pristine conditions.
To address the challenge of water pollution by illegal mining activities, the Blue Water Initiative was launched within the first 120 days in line with the government's manifesto promise. So far, over 450 personnel have been trained and deployed. I'm also happy to announce that the second batch of 530 blue water gas will be graduating just this Friday, 25th of July. The target is to train 2,000 blue water gas personnel by the end of the year. The deployment strategy for the blue water gas is non-confrontational. They act as intelligence officers and also engage with local community to raise awareness about the importance of environmental conservation and the negative impacts of illegal mining. I think already it is very clear that we are seeing the very positive impact of the presence of these blue water guards in our watering areas. The second phase of the Blue Water Initiative will focus on dechemicalizing the water bodies to restore them to their pristine conditions. Feasibility studies are steadily underway.
All right, so that's the Sector Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua. Let's pick the thoughts of Awula Sewa, who is with eco-conscious citizens. So Awula, the minister says 55 small-scale mining licenses revoked as at the start of the year 2025. Over 900 small-scale licenses currently under review, with the possibility of them or more of them being revoked after a review of the exercise. Large-scale mining licenses also under scrutiny as part of broader reforms to ensure responsible mining and environmentally sustainable way. 427 excavators seized in targeted operations against illegal mining across various regions. More than 1,000 arrested during the exercise, with ongoing prosecution to hold offenders accountable and deter future violators. And of course, 1,200 excavators impounded pending validation. Something has been done. Something obviously has been done, isn't it?
Nobody is denying that something is being done. Nobody is denying that efforts are being done. What is being said is that the president himself has admitted that there's a national emergency. So when there's a national emergency, urgent steps have to be taken. We acknowledge what is being done. We appreciate it. But does it go to the heart of the matter? And that is why UTAC, for instance, has has written to the government asking for certain things to be done, failing which they may have to embark on industrial action. In the run-up to the election, the president promised a targeted state of emergency. That hasn't happened. The president promised the revocation of LI 2462. That hasn't happened. We are pleased that the licenses are being looked at. But what we are talking about is not just licenses. It's a question of monitoring and ensuring that persons with mining license go according to the parameters of their license. So do they have all the equipment they are supposed to have before they start operation? Are they complying with the terms of their license? That is what is crucial. But in the meantime, so many other measures need to be taken. We need a targeted state of emergency. Even some of the forest reserves, which we claim to have got back, we know that forestry officers have been attacked there. So much as we commend what is going on, it is not enough. And you talk about the Blue Water Guard.
Right.
Fantastic. But what can they do when the environmental activists are armed?
The other matter perhaps we can talk about is the excavators. I mean, so many excavators seized. And I remember, if you remember what the Dr. Hanabisu said after impounding 40, the next day he went there and 37 had been taken out. It is not just enough to seize them. And then you seize them today, you make noise about it, and the next day it is back in the forest.
But this is a pattern. It happened under the previous regime where the excavators flew with and disappeared. So when the excavators are seized, they should be handed over to somebody. That person should be held accountable when they disappear. But the bigger question is, why are we allowing excavators into the country when we know that they are not being used for construction? They are finding their way to the forest reserves and decimating our forest reserves.
In fact, 10,000 of them are awaiting clearance at the Tema Port.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not serious. We need to pause the importation of excavators. Excavators have very limited use. We don't need thousands of them. How much construction is going on? There are enough in the country. So stop the importation of excavators, because they're finding their way straight to the forest reserves. Even when we say we are tagging them, I'm reliably informed that they're sometimes able to supersede the tagging system. So let's stop the importation of excavators, because they are being used to decimate our forest reserves. We know that. Second of all, when they are seized, you hand them over to responsible persons. If they fly wings and disappear, those persons should be held accountable. You know, what is happening is like a joke. We don't seem to appreciate the gravity of the situation. The fact that we're on the verge of a catastrophe. And if we continue like this, you know, we'll all be poisoned. Already, CAS has told us that the kidney cases have quadrupled. And let me say this, when we're talking about intelligence from the Blue Water Guard, we have, for example, in Atronsu, a community of activists who have been trying to protect their only source of water, the Atronsu stream, from illegal miners. They have been making complaints to the police. I myself have made some, and nothing much was happening. But on Farmers' Day last year, the activists were arrested, refused police bail, refused court bail, and they spent 5 nights in custody. Now they have been criminally charged with allegedly destroying 2 excavators, which they denied, and they've been going to court each time the police have not completed their investigation. So one would wonder why there was an indecent case in refusing them police bail when investigations had not been completed. So we are appealing to the Inspector General of Police to drop the charges against the Atronsu 5 and investigate the matter so that it would not seem as if the justice system is being used to intimidate activists who are trying to stop the canker, who are trying to stop the ecocide in their community.
And then the minister spoke for over an hour. I did not hear the LI taking another life in Parliament. Parliament will hear the presentation of the media review. After that, they'll go on recess. It looks like you won't have what you want as far as the revocation of the LI is concerned.
You see, that is why we are asking whether the political will is there. There's a lot of rhetoric. We run forest reserves here and there. We have Blue Water Guards. We do this and we do that. But is the commitment really there? We have failed to declare a targeted state of emergency as promised to Ghanaians. We have failed to revoke LI 2462, which is a low-hanging fruit. And we've rather done an amendment which doesn't go to the root of the matter. So Ghanaians feel let down. Ghanaians have given this administration an overwhelming majority to deal with the canker of illegal mining. And what is going on is not what Ghanaians want. In addition, highly placed persons have been named as being complicit or actively involved in illegal mining, and nothing seems to be happening to them. Yes, the Attorney General has referred 2 persons to IOCO, but many more people, including the Iowing parliamentarian. We know everybody is innocent and so proven guilty. But the fact of the matter is that he has been reported as being involved in illegal mining. And we don't know exactly what action is being taken.
Well, I guess for now we can only keep talking and we can only keep reminding the policymakers to do something about this, because it is still...
has to stop, and that is why UTAC has taken the lead to write to the government and to give them things that have to be done, failing which they might be compelled to call for industrial action. We commend UTAC for taking the lead, because this problem can be solved. Illegal mining can be done away with. Ghanaians do not have to be poisoned. We do not have to have our water bodies being poisoned. So when we are drinking water right now, we don't know whether it's poisoned or not. The food we are consuming, the food chain has been contaminated. So when we are consuming tubers, consuming whatever, it could be poison. So we need to take urgent action immediately. And we commend UTAC, and we hope that the government will take heed, because the president has recognized the fact that we face a national emergency, and take the necessary measures. A state of emergency is necessary. Revoking L.I. 246 is necessary. Pausing small-scale mining is necessary. Not just small-scale mining. Everybody involved in mining. The monitoring should take place. And we must pause the importation of excavators.
All right, Olasaba, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Of course, we heard the minister, speak to a number of issues, including what government has done so far. The arrests, over 1,000 of them, 1,200 people arrested in Galamsey areas. There's also they've also impounded several, in their thousands, excavators, and they are also reviewing papers for over 10,000 excavators imported into the country. And as we heard President Mahama say some time back, Ghana appears to have more excavators than the whole of Africa, and most of them are used to, destroy our environment. We are keeping tabs on this particular matter, and that we'll do more on the matter of illegal mining. As we look forward to the media review tomorrow, whether or not Galamsey will be given mention by the finance minister. But let's move away from Galamsey and talk about IT. Now, as the urgency grows for African businesses to rise, innovate, and compete in today's fast-paced, tech-driven global economy, conversation like this couldn't be more timely. Now, let's talk about this. And joining me in the studio is Ebako Bukwele, Chief Executive Officer of MKNet Consortium and Emma Tech Academy, two leading institutions at the forefront of Africa digital transformation through tailored IT solutions and cutting-edge training. Emma Tech is equipping young people with industry-relevant skills whilst helping businesses unlock growth, efficiency, and innovation. At the heart of their mission is a commitment to bridging the gap between Africa's business needs and technological advancement, fostering sustainable economic and societal development. And he joins me in the studio for us to throw more light on it. Mr. Bakwele, good afternoon and good to see you.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
First time in Ghana?
Yes.
So how are you finding Ghana? Have you had a taste of jollof or any of our local?
That's the first thing I actually ate when I got here.
Jollof.
The evening I landed, jollof was presented. And
so what conclusion did you come to in terms of comparing it with the others on the sub-region?
Well, I was born in Cameroon, so we have our own type of jollof. But,
okay.
I'll see you guys you're still coming up. That's the competition. Okay. It was beautiful. It was delicious. It was delicious. I'd say it's definitely the same level. African cuisine is the best.
I think we share a lot of similarities in culture, food,
yes,
and a lot of things on the continent.
When I'm walking down the street, I went to the market, the largest market yesterday in Accra. I felt like I was somewhere in some market called Kumba, Kumba Market, for my village where I grew up. It's just beautiful. Africa is exactly the same. I also call it the motherland.
But we are not linking up well.
So that's the problem. That's the problem. In the ecosystem, we have to definitely connect. Anything that can connect it in a very great way is information technology. We have to be able to spread it out there, educate our young ones, get them up to scale with what is going on out there. My 3-year-old son, in the United States, the type of things he can do with the computer is crazy. Every time I'm sitting and typing things, he always comes in and tries to touch things.
3 years.
Yes. So think about that. You know, what age do kids in other parts? You know, I'm just going to talk about just Africa, remote parts of the world, right? When are they actually exposed to information technology? You know, so that's where it starts, and it takes it to a whole different level.
So when you look at that scenario, and then you replicate it in Africa, does it give you the sense that we are being left behind?
We're being left behind, I wouldn't say by the Western world, but we're being left behind by our own. We have to start incorporating information technology in schools at the youngest age. It doesn't matter. These kids, like American folks teach the kids how to swim from like 11 months.
Right.
So that's how I have to replicate exactly the same thing. For us to be able to be competitive, we have to start very young. The future is the young. The youths control the future. We control a certain era, but it gets to the point where the young ones, good thing is that they're coming in a time where technology is really fast changing.
Right.
Things are becoming very easier. You know, nowadays you can do a lot of things in a very short period of time because technology has changed. So, but are we actually educating our African, youths about the tomorrow?
And we've got a youthful population.
We are.
Yeah, I mean, as compared to other continents, we are ahead in terms of the young people that we have. And the thing is that we are not bringing them up to speed in terms of what technology can help change our economies, their living conditions, and everything.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's why I'm here. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. To be able to start, I want to start with, first of all, you have to educate. A lot of things that people think they know, they don't. There's a lot of things, it goes down to a little bitty detail, but then you have to start, first of all, the baby steps. Educate the community about what they have to do, what they need to know about certain things at the job, when you go to work, at home, with your phones. What do you do with your phones? Most of these phones nowadays are all smartphones where you touch it, you know.
Right, everything is there.
Back in the days, we had
it wasn't like that.
Touch screens, you know. Things have changed, but how are you using that computer system in your hand, you know, to change your life? How are you learning the equipment itself for whatever it's doing? Have you ever thought about how does WhatsApp works? How does Facebook works? How does TikTok works?
Right. I mean, in fact, I was having a conversation with somebody. This was last week. I told the person that the first time I went to London, this was around 2007. There was no Google Maps.
Yeah.
And so anytime I left the house, I had everything written out for me, and I'll be checking maps to see where exactly. And now it's very easy to go wherever you want to go. But let's talk about the continent. I started with food, and food is business. But on a broader scale of, I mean, the advantages businesses on a continent stands to gain if they, you know, if they adopt technology as a main tool to drive business.
Yes.
First, let me find out, what have you identified to be the major challenge that is pulling us back in terms of embracing technology as a whole?
Yes. So I'll talk at different levels, right? I'm going to talk from the perspective of the local trader down the street, right? So I don't want to focus just on the rich folks, the folks that own the large hotels and stuff, right? They have networks also. But let's start with the local folks down the street, right? How do you get somebody who sells just something down the street, whatever it is, could be biscuits or whatever, you know? How do you get them to expose their products? They go home, you know, they work. That's what they do. That's how they make the living, right? They need to expose this content.
Okay.
How to expose it? Technology has to help them to do that. Okay, you get them if you educate them how. Hey, let's say, hey, can you come over? Let's say you have a digital space where they can expose a product online. Now, before you know it, somebody who sells like a very nice, let's say food. Let's talk about food. Somebody sells food, right? These days you can actually ship food. Right. Like you can dry it, make it in such a way where you can ship it overseas. There's a lot of Africans over there who have so much money they want to eat their local food, but they don't have access to it. And you here, you make it. Now, what creates that? What closes that gap is technology. You create websites, you have social media, you have all this stuff where if you expose it to the local folks down there, they know how to take pictures of this stuff, put it online. And before you know it, folks on the other side, they're exposed to it.
True.
And then now what the other part is, okay, if they're exposed to it, so how do they get paid? I'm very impressed of what Momo has been doing in Africa.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest problem. I remember that back in the days when I was
mobile money.
Yes, mobile money. Because the trade. So you give me something, I give you back money, right? The business plan is always about getting money and then selling what you're creating. Now, back in the days, it was very difficult to get money, right, to transfer money because not everybody had money to go open a bank account.
And the risks involved in it.
The risks involved because can come in the next day, the bank account is closed, the money is gone. But nowadays, they have this Momo where people can easily transfer money, which has really, really, really changed Africa, the way money functions, right? But that's not all. But then, how do I expose my product? How do I make it for this person somewhere who has money, who wants to spend money on me and make me grow, okay, to get to the next level? Technology. We have to educate our folks out there. Now, for the big folks out there, for the hotels and all the folks that have big companies, it's the actual digitalization of networks. So that's where you actually have to create to buy the right equipment, hire the right engineers to configure it the right way, in a secure way, because there's a lot of hacking going on out here these days.
Okay.
So, just for starter, yes.
No, but so you are in Ghana. And you've got products that businesses can take advantage of. Can you walk us through some of them?
I'm sorry, say it again?
As you are in Ghana, you've got products that businesses can take advantage of. If you can walk us through some of them.
So, I wouldn't say what I'm selling. What I'm here to expose, right, is to educate folks about how to get their products to a place where people can see them. That's one thing. That's one thing. So what my company does is we help companies to be able to educate them first and then to also build the architecture for them. So we do both. We educate and we build. Because let's say, for example, everybody's at a different level. Every business at a different level. Until you actually give access to those people who are trained enough to assess your network or assess your business to know how that can help your business grow. The levels, there are several steps in the way information technology can influence Africa, which is the productivity, increased productivity, right, and efficiency. So you have a business, say you have a hotel, and you have workers working at your hotel, right? How do you make your business to grow? First of all, productivity and efficiency, right? Efficiency only works if you actually create the right equipment for these workers to use these tools. Let's say if you have your customer service experience becomes a little bit more better. Let's say if you folks are answering calls at a short period of time, they tend to do work that they were supposed to be doing like in a month. Now they're doing it in like 2 weeks. Right. Why? Because you provide the tools for them. Now, for these tools to be able to be available, you have to have a solid network that is built at the back end of this company before you can implement it.
We don't have much time, but how long are you in Ghana? If somebody want to get in touch with you, how would a person be able to do so?
Oh, definitely. My website, www.mknetconsulting.com. We have our information in there. We have an email, they have a phone number, and just hit.
And whilst in Ghana, is there a clinic you are hosting where people can come, ask questions, get to understand how you can help them get their business to grow?
So definitely, the forum I created was at the Unimac University, which I spoke with some students. I actually personally spoke with students one-on-one, in person, and that was exposure that I had. But definitely, for now, they can definitely contact on the website.
All right.
And I definitely have to create time to come back and definitely meet people in person.
Okay. We'll leave it here, but hopefully we'll catch up again.
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, so we'll leave it here for now, but there's more stories on myjoyonline.com. And yes, so there you have it. There's the minority accuses NDC of hypocrisy over the Galamsey crisis, demands urgent action. Sami Jemfi sues Fia Schwarzenegger. You want to get the details of that story plus others on myjoyonline.com. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Groby. Have a good evening and take care. Same time tomorrow, we shall be here to review the mid-year budget.